I'm Justin Malamar for Revolution News here at Ontario Court of Justice. Well, folks, here's the thing here. David Menzies had his day today in court once again, for the charge of trespassing this time. Why on earth the Toronto police would trespass David Menzies when, it is obvious that he is on a public property? Because, Nathan Phillips Square, as far as I checked, is a public property. And you know what here, folks, here's the thing here is that, oh yes, this is all related to his arrest back in April 6 last month, where Pierre Poilievre held a civil vigil for the victims of the October 7 terrorist attack, those Israeli Jews, and basically other people who are in Israel that were kidnapped and taken hostage by the Hamas terrorists. But you know what here, folks, that's the thing there, is that, so David Menzies was doing his job as a independent journalist, and the pro-Hamas thugs get so hostile with him because, they become so aggressive when he tried to ask them questions, insensitive questions. But of course, instead of arresting the pro-Hamas thugs, oh yes, the Toronto police chose to arrest David Menzies instead. I mean, it's completely ridiculous here, folks, because the Toronto police obviously violated his civil liberties, freedom of speech, and especially freedom of the press. And the thing here, folks, is that last time I checked, we still have freedom of the press here in Canada, and this is not China, but it totally looking like China. Oh yes, because remember 10 years ago during the Harper government, when Trudeau became the leader of the Liberal Party before he became the Prime Minister of Canada, he totally went on and openly stated that he admires China's basic dictatorship. And you know what here, folks? I wish I'm making this stuff up, but it will be better if you see this video evidence for yourself. Here, folks, check it out.
The level of admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime and say, we need to go green as fast as we need to start, investing in solar. I mean, there is a flexibility that I know Stephen Harper must dream about, of having a dictatorship that he could do everything he wanted.
Yeah, so that's the thing there. Justin Trudeau is obviously making that statement a pure reality. As he's actually walking the talk when it comes to, openly admiring China's basic dictatorship. But, basically, not only that. So, from what I heard is that, the Toronto Police Chief, Darren Q, had a meeting with Justin Trudeau. And last time I checked, the Toronto Police Chief doesn't answer to the Prime Minister. But it looks like that, what kind of, let me just tell you what my speculation here, and just let your imagination run wild. Maybe Justin Trudeau is telling Mayor Dem Crew, the Toronto Police Chief, to just go a little easy with the pro-Hamas thugs, as we're gonna have an election next year, in the coming months. So, I think they're just trying to court the pro-Hamas thugs. And, if there's any pesky independent journalists, throw the book at them. And it looks like that's what's happening here. But, once again, this is just my pure speculation here. But, nonetheless here, folks, is that, from what I saw, also inside the court, is that, allegedly David Menzies had breached a peace bond. And as far as I know, David Menzies has not entered into any peace bond. And you know what there, folks? That thing is completely absurd. So what happened today at the courthouse, or inside the courtroom, is that, well, the Crown needs more time for disclosure. Completely unbelievable, totally disgraceful, because what kind of time do they need? Because here's the thing here, that's the same thing happened. And let me just give you a little reminder here, folks. I think a few months ago or so, there was a man that was arrested for flying a terrorist flag, and right after the trial, the Crown decided to drop the charge, as into apparently, well, oh yes, they lack any evidence for conviction, because they don't have any enough evidence for conviction. Like, totally surreal. So, well, the next court hearing on this trespassing matter will be on August 8th. So that will be just like basically sort of 3 months from now. But what, let me just again let my speculation go wild here. I think they just gonna say in the next court hearing, they just need more time for disclosure. But of course here, folks, I mean, this is completely ridiculous, because what kind of time do they need? Because what do they mean when they need more time? Because just take a look at the video evidence. David Menzies was just practicing journalism, and he was not being a bother at all, and he was just really trying to do his job and ask these pro-Hamas types questions. And the pro-Hamas types become so aggressive, and they assaulted him and his cameraman Efron Mansanto. But just check out this ridiculous video evidence of the pro-Hamas thugs assaulting David Menzies, and of course the Toronto police arresting David Menzies. Completely surreal. Just will be better for you to see this for yourself. Check it out.
Watch your hands. We have your hands. Watch your hands. Watch your hands. Mr. Menzies. Hey, don't put your hands on me. I just want to make sure.
Why is Cowboy over here?
You're pushing me and they're standing in my way. You are false indicating. You can have, so you can have these lunatics. They can chant genocide in the street, and I can't cover that. Mr. Menzies. Obey your oath, officer. Obey your oath.
Israel, I don't know.
Will you get? Listen, if I'm on the other arrest, get your hands off. Okay, then I will. Okay, put your phone down. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for refusing to leave, okay? Refusing to leave the wagon, Mr. Menzies.
So yeah, that's the thing there, folks, is that they chose to arrest David Menzies instead, because it's so seemingly here that they just know David Menzies won't even resist arrest and all that stuff. And I think the new sort of job that Toronto police is taking on is being a Uber Eats driver, of delivering coffee and timbits to the pro-Hamas thugs during the cold months. I mean, just see this for yourself. I mean, I just wish, I'm making this stuff up here, folks. Here, check it out.
He left. No one told him they can't come back. Otherwise, he would have said, "Okay, I understand."
Okay, I'll just ask just so. Sorry, it's the person with the vest.
Jihad. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the thing there, folks, is that I think their, just description went from, enforcing the rule of law into, being a Uber Eats driver for the pro-Hamas types. I mean, it's completely surreal here, folks. But nonetheless, the thing with the Crown is that I think they have a sort of, hidden agenda when it comes to this, and it's so seemingly here that, they're just preparing to keep delaying this until to the end, until they're ready to unleash their, hidden agenda. Completely surreal. But we're gonna see the next court hearing, which is August 8th, on this matter, whether the Crown will say the same thing, kind of, that they need more time. This is completely unbelievable because from the beginning, this is all made up charges, and well, for sure, once this case gets settled, well, for sure, Rival News and David Menzies will go on the offense and sue the Toronto police for false arrest and false imprisonment. And you know what here, folks? There's the thing there is that, quite frankly, what we're seeing from the Toronto police is, that they arresting journalists who dares to, ask insensitive questions, impolite questions. But yeah, that's all the things you need to know about these made up charges, and the fact that the Crown is trying to delay this trial, this matter, until to the end. I mean, what kind of hidden agenda do they have? This is completely disgraceful. For Revolution News, I'm Asylum Justin Melamore. Well, folks, if you're completely fed up with the Toronto police arresting independent journalists like David Menzies, well, together, let's show our support for David Menzies and help him fight this legal battle. Go to standwithdavid.com, standwithdavid.com, and, well, let's help him with this legal battle and send a message to the Toronto police that enough is enough.